Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Is anything real anymore? Or is everything in Democrat politics some sort of game? An optics game, a photo op game, a narrative game? There's one word that keeps popping up, and that's the word fake. And I'll add another one to it, fraudulent. Holy frickin' moly, guys, it's unbelievable. But Kamala Harris does it again. The world is still in chaos and crisis. In other words, the world needs real leadership right now, but what do we get from Kamala Harris and Joe Biden? Well, you get a whole bunch of pretending. It's kind of a weird situation. It feels almost as though Kamala Harris has assumed the role of leader. Joe Biden is nearly non-existent these days, and so I guess Kamala Harris is in charge. But again, going back to the core concepts, fake, fraudulent, pretending, instead of actually doing her job, Kamala Harris is now resorting to fake frickin' photo ops where she pretends as if she's working. It's yet again another slap in the face to every single American, but it's nothing new, it's just a continued trend. That's who these people are. Let's have a conversation about that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so this is truly insane. Obviously there's been a lot of pressure on Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to, do their frickin' jobs in response to Hurricane Helene, but instead what do you get? You get Joe Biden on vacation, doing his work remotely, I guess. Here he is snapping at the media for questioning his activity, let's call it, post-devastating storm.
Why weren't you and Vice President Harris here in Washington commanding this weekend?
I was commanding. I was on the phone for at least 2 hours yesterday and the day before as well. I command. It's called a telephone. And all my security people.
Is it not important for the country to see?
In retrospect, do you wish that you had more resources in North Carolina, knowing what you know now? And do you wish that you spent the weekend here in Washington rather than in Delaware?
Come on, stop that game. We live rather than Delaware. It's 90 miles from here, okay?
So as we know, Joe Biden's pretty much useless. That's no surprise. And he's obviously not fit enough to get on the ground and again do his job and make his presence known. And so that leaves Kamala Harris. What's Kamala Harris doing? I mean, she's supposedly the new leader. Since Joe Biden dropped out of the race, we don't even really hear about him. It's Kamala, Kamala, Kamala. She's pretty much assuming the role. And well, of course, pretty much what you would expect, not really getting much from her either. What do we get from Kamala? Well, we get fake photo ops. Here's a photo released by the Kamala Harris campaign. Yep, I'm not kidding. This is Kamala Harris's response to Hurricane Helene. A fake photo of her pretending to work. I'm on it, folks. Look at me, working away, hard at work, doing what needs to be done for the American people. I mean, what an absolute farce. This is obviously the most staged fake photo I've ever seen. She's acting as if she's listening to something in her earbuds, but the headphone wire isn't even plugged into the phone. Look at that. She's literally pretending to work. In other words, Kamala Harris, if elected president of the United States, will be the first, let's call it Instagram influencer style president. Just taking photos, pretending as if she's doing something rather than actually doing something. I don't think I've ever seen anything so disgraceful. It comes back to this idea of looking presidential rather than actually being a president or being a leader. There's something just so fake and so cringe and incompetent and inauthentic. It all just feels so fraudulent, but most importantly, it feels like there's a giant void, again, with respect to leadership. This is not a leader. This is not what leaders do. And that I'm noticing is a trend. As the world, again, is plunged into chaos, this is what we've come to expect with these people. It's all just so incredibly weird. Kind of ironic. The Kamala Harris campaign went on for weeks, claiming that Trump and JD Vance are so weird, but I'd say this is weird. Pretending like you're working so you can take a photo to reassure the American people that everything's gonna be okay? Yeah, that's frickin' weird. And actually, speaking of weird, there's also this clip, which is seriously weird.
Madam Vice President.
Thank you, Kamala. This way, let's go. This way.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. This way.
Kamala Harris refusing to take questions once again following a FEMA briefing, just sitting there with a weird smirk on her face as her staffers force the press out of the room. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but there's just something about that shot that just screams not president material. And really, again, just like her predecessor. All the celebrities and all the shills keep telling us that Kamala Harris represents change. Really, change. change. Something different, something fresh. Give me a frickin' break. If anything, that clip proves that it's the same thing as Joe Biden. What you're getting with Kamala is the same thing that you're getting with Joe. There's no change. It's still more of the same old, same old. Another basement president who refuses to get on the ground and refuses to ask questions. But of course, never misses a moment to fundraise, that's for frickin' sure. As Peter Doocy accurately observes,
people in Western North Carolina were drowning in their houses this weekend. Others were losing everything. President Biden was at his beach house, and Vice President Harris was hosting political fundraisers on the West Coast. Is there a reason that they could not be here?
The president did exactly what a president in this moment needs to do, which is directing his team to take action.
In my view, one thing is painfully obvious. It's all just a friggin' game to these people. It's an optics game, a public relations game. Like I've been saying for years, the Democrats are all talk and no actual action. Meanwhile, on the flip side, there's another man, their opponent, 45th President of the United States and hopefully 47th, Donald J. Trump, who remains the gift that keeps on giving. As Kamala Harris is pretending to work, as Joe Biden is working remotely, Donald Trump once again gets on the freaking ground. I mean, even CNN is basically saying that Trump is the acting president.
He is being treated not just as a former president, but almost as though he is a sitting president. As Boris, you just noted, getting a briefing from FEMA, getting a briefing from the National Guard. That is not something that is typically just offered to a candidate. They are treating him as though he is a former president who is there to help. And one thing that I had noticed earlier during our 1 p.m. conversation was that Donald Trump did not have that much to offer in terms of resources since he is not a sitting president. But I will note that he and the campaign say that they have arrived in that area with trucks full of supplies that they plan on giving out. So there is something there for them to offer. He also said that he had a tanker truck full of gasoline, which obviously, if you've ever covered one of these storms, you understand that one of the first things and hardest things to come by is gasoline. So he said that he was going to be giving that out. He is clearly taking this seriously as a politician is on the ground trying to show that he is there in support of the people on the ground in Georgia.
You know, that's a man who actually works, not a person who pretends to work for Instagram likes. The contrast is as clear as day. Donald Trump mobilizes immediately, gets on the ground, and works with his connections to add value.
Homes, hospitals, highways, and cars have been plunged underwater. Entire neighborhoods have been turned into lakes. Nobody's seen anything like it. And to every family that's been displaced here in Georgia and North Carolina, which has really been hit. We were going there also, and they don't have communication. They don't have anything right now. We're trying to. I just spoke to Elon. I'm getting him. We want to get Starlink hooked up because they have no communication whatsoever. And Elon will always come through. We know that.
To me, this is what a real leader looks like. And now, of course, the left is trying to discredit Trump, claiming that he had nothing to do with this whole Starlink thing with Elon Musk. Elon and FEMA were already working together, but according to Elon Musk himself, apparently that's not the case at all. Elon Musk tweets, "Since the Hurricane Helene disaster, SpaceX has sent as many Starlink terminals as possible to help areas in need. Earlier today, at Real Donald Trump alerted me to additional people who need Starlink internet in North Carolina, and we are sending them terminals right away." You know, exactly like I said, Trump is actually adding value. Trump's actually doing something. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are just pretending. It's the same trend that we have seen every time, whether it's Maui, the southern border, East Palestine, Ohio. The Democrats are all talk and no actual action. Meanwhile, Donald Trump continues to work relentlessly. So it's like I keep saying, it's real versus fake. It's leadership versus total frauds, who obviously couldn't care less. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.